If there was a way to enjoy more trips, more experiences, and less money stress in retirement, would you do it? After helping hundreds retire, I found most retirees' biggest regrets have nothing to do with how much they saved or invested. They're about how they spent their money. So in this video, I'll show you the spending strategy that helps retirees actually do the things they've always dreamed about without risking running out of money. To start, let me show you why so many retirees miss out on the experiences they saved their whole lives for. This first chart from BlackRock shows how retirees plan to spend their savings. About a quarter have no plan at all. But if you're watching this video, you're probably already starting to plan. The bigger issue is what nearly half of retirees do instead. They follow a fixed withdrawal rule, spending the same amount of their savings every year, no matter what's happening. So why does this approach lead to so many missed experiences? Well, this chart shows how much you could safely spend without running out of money. In some periods, the safe number is very low. In others, it's much higher. So which one do you pick? Well, if you pick a number that can help protect you in the rough periods, you end up underspending your money. But if you pick a number that fits the good ones and get bad timing, you risk running out. And that's the problem with a fixed spending strategy. It forces you to choose between safety and enjoyment. But the good news is you don't have to make that choice. Let me show you how you can spend more and lower your risk of running out. Researchers from Vanguard looked at how much retirees could safely spend across different market eras. They started in 1973, one of the worst times in history to retire. Most people would defend against that with something like the 4% rule. If you started retirement with $1 million, you'd spend $40,000 per year, shown by the black line. But instead of locking into the minimum, the green line shows a different approach. This retiree starts by spending more and adjusts as the market moves. When markets fall early on, they cut back. And when things rebound in the 90s, they start spending more. And even with terrible timing and higher spending early on, they still end up with over $25,000 more in lifetime spending. But the strategy gets even better. The orange line shows someone who retired in 1983, one of the best times in history to retire. They started with the same percentage, but as the market surged, so did their spending. And by the end, they spent over $1.5 million more than someone who stuck to the 4% rule. So whether you retire into a crash or a boom, dynamic spending helps you enjoy more of your money without risking running out. But now that you know that, let me show you exactly how you can create your own dynamic spending strategy so you can enjoy those trips and experiences without constantly stressing about running out of money. It's called the confident spending cycle. To start, think about a GPS. Before it gives you directions, it needs to know where you're going. Some people want to spend every dollar. Others want to leave something behind. But until you know your goal, we can't build a plan. And that's step one. Step two is setting your initial withdrawal rate, how much you'll spend in year one. And that comes down to 4 key factors, which you can see here. Think of them like sliding scales. The further to the right you are, the more you can spend to start. So a shorter retirement, more aggressive investments, more spending flexibility, or being okay with some uncertainty, all raise your starting withdrawal rate. On the flip side, if you want more certainty or you're planning for a long retirement, you want to start more conservatively. Someone in this situation may start near 3 or 4%, whereas someone on the more aggressive end may start at 5 or 6%. And just to be clear, there's no perfect number, just a smart starting point you can adjust over time. And once you have that, the next step is building a plan to adjust. We do that by setting a floor and a ceiling. Think of them like guardrails that keep you on track so you don't overreact every time the market moves. Just like your withdrawal rate, floor and ceiling numbers vary depending on how much change in spending you're comfortable with. But here's a simple rule I often use with clients. If your portfolio finishes the year up, increase spending by 5%. If it finishes down, decrease by 2.5%. This helps you stay flexible without big lifestyle swings year to year. And as life happens, markets move and goals shift. We just keep repeating the cycle. And that's the power of the confident spending cycle. You don't have to choose between safety and enjoyment. You get the best of both worlds. But even retirees have the perfect plan to spend exactly the right amount from their savings. They run into a bigger problem. When highly renowned retirement researcher Dr. Michael Finke studied retirement life satisfaction, he found that once basic needs were covered, how much money people spent had very little impact on well-being. So if you want to truly enjoy your retirement, the most important part of your spending strategy actually has nothing to do with how much money you spend. In Finke's study, the happiest retirees didn't actually spend more than everyone else. The difference was they focused their spending on 3 key categories. If you're a subscriber, you may have seen this visual from Dr. Peter Attia before, but it perfectly shows what the happiest retirees focus on that most others don't. Across the bottom is your lifespan, how long you live, and along the side is your health span, how well you're able to live. The line stays strong for a while, but as you move deeper into retirement, it drops. Your health starts to fade long before your life does. But the good news is that drop isn't set in stone. What the happiest retirees do differently is they push this curve to the right, extending their healthiest, most active years deeper into retirement. And that's the first key difference in how they spend. They invest in their health early because it gives them the ability to enjoy their money far more than those who don't. The next category the happiest retirees focus on is something that quietly fades away, often without people realizing it. In one of the longest running studies in history, the Harvard Study of Adult Development, researchers found one thing that predicts health and happiness more than money, fame, or anything else: strong social connection. Most retirees never think about this because when you're working, connection's built in. You get daily interactions without trying. But once you retire, many of those interactions you took for granted quietly disappear. So the second thing the happiest retirees do differently is they don't leave social connection to chance. When you're faced with a spending decision in retirement, ask yourself this: will it create more opportunities to connect with other people? If the answer is yes, you're probably headed in the right direction. The third category the happiest retirees focus on is all about avoiding one myth that nearly everyone believes about retirement. Most people picture retirement as an endless vacation, sitting on the beach, playing more golf, or just finally escaping work. But research from the Harvard School of Public Health shows that what really drives a successful retirement isn't escaping work. It's having a sense of purpose. In fact, researchers found that people with a strong sense of purpose tend to be healthier, happier, and even live longer than those without one. And the happiest retirees figure this out early. Retirement isn't about getting away from something, it's about being pulled towards something new. That purpose doesn't have to be big or complicated. For some, it's volunteering. For others, it's a hobby or regular pursuit that gives their day structure. So as you think about how to spend your time and money in retirement, ask yourself this simple question: will this move me towards something meaningful or just help me pass the time? So now you know how to build a retirement spending plan that will allow you to enjoy your retirement and spend with confidence, instead of second-guessing every decision. And the most important part of your spending plan that most retirees never think about. But even when retirees have the perfect spending plan, they still hold back for one reason. They worry that the next market crash will drain their retirement savings. Watch this video next. It will help you stop worrying about investing so you can enjoy the retirement you dreamed of.